At 16, my dad disowned me for my brother's lie. "You're a disgrace," he yelled. 2 weeks later, his pride shattered when he found out the truth. I was 16 when my father screamed those words at me. "You're a disgrace. Get out of my house." My brother Ethan stood behind him, fake tears streaming down his face, selling the performance of a lifetime. Dad believed every word. The accusation was simple and devastating. Ethan claimed I'd stolen $3,000 from his college fund to buy gaming equipment. He had receipts, screenshots, even a fake confession text he'd sent himself from my phone while I was asleep. The evidence looked airtight. I tried explaining. "Dad, I didn't do this. Check my bank account. Look at my room. Where's all this equipment I supposedly bought?" But Dad wasn't interested in logic. Ethan was his golden child, the future doctor, the one who made him proud at every family gathering. I was the quiet one, the kid who spent too much time on computers, the one he never quite understood. "Of course you'd deny it," Dad said coldly. "Ethan worked hard for that money. You're jealous because you'll never measure up to him." "That's not true," I whispered. Mom stood in the doorway, arms crossed, silent. She'd always deferred to Dad on discipline. This time was no different. "Pack your things," Dad ordered. "You have 1 hour. You can stay with your uncle until you figure out how to fix this mess you've made." I packed my laptop, clothes, and a photo of my grandmother, the grandmother who'd actually believed in me, who'd passed away the year before. Ethan watched from his doorway. "Better learn your lesson," he said quietly, making sure only I could hear. "This is what happens when you're Dad's disappointment." I moved into Uncle Ray's spare room that night. School became torture. Ethan had told everyone what I'd supposedly done. Friends stopped returning texts. I ate lunch alone in the library while everyone else lived normal teenage lives. But here's what nobody knew. I'd been freelancing as a web developer since I was 14, saving money in an account nobody knew about for college. 2 weeks after Dad kicked me out, Detective Morrison called. "We need to talk about unusual activity on your account. Someone's been making luxury purchases using your family's routing information. Designer clothes, expensive dinners, a Miami trip, all charged to your brother's college fund." "That's impossible," I said. "I don't have access to that account." "I know. The IP address is traced to your home, but the times match when you weren't there. Your brother was." The detective explained they'd been investigating a credit card fraud ring. Ethan's suspicious spending patterns had triggered an algorithm. When they dug deeper, they found everything. The real thief wasn't me. It was Ethan. He'd been skimming from his own college fund for months, buying things he couldn't afford, living beyond his means. When the account balance got too low and he knew Dad would check it soon, he needed a scapegoat. I was convenient. The confrontation happened at the police station. Dad's face went white when Detective Morrison laid out the evidence. Bank statements showing Ethan's spending, security footage of him at stores using the college fund debit card, text messages to friends bragging about his new lifestyle. "But Dad," Ethan started. Dad held up his hand, his whole body shaking. Not another word. He turned to me, and for the first time in 2 weeks, he really looked at me. His face crumbled. "What have I done?" I didn't answer. The detective continued. "Mr. Chen, your younger son maintained his innocence throughout. We verified his finances separately. He's been running a legitimate web development business. He's actually earned over $8,000 in the past year." Dad's head snapped toward me. "You have $8,000? I've been saving for college. Since you made it clear I was on my own." The drive home was silent. Ethan faced fraud charges. Dad kept trying to apologize, but I just stared out the window. "Your uncle can bring your things back," he finally said. "Please come home." I didn't answer. That night, Uncle Ray asked what I wanted to do. "Stay here," I said, "at least until I graduate." Dad called 47 times over the next week. I answered once. "The damage is done. You chose Ethan without question. You called me a disgrace. Those words don't disappear because you found out the truth. But I'm your son. You were my father." Past tense. I hung up and blocked his number. Ethan took a plea deal. Dad paid his restitution. I graduated early, moved out of state for college, and built a life with people who believed in me from the start. Some relationships, once broken, aren't worth fixing.